Yesterday, while we discussed Steph Curry's all-time rank among NBA players, Skip named several players he would take ahead of the two-time MVP, but the one that got a lot of attention online was Hall of Famer Bill Walton. So this was trending on Twitter all afternoon yesterday. So, Skip, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I would take Bill Walton in playoff games in a heartbeat over what I have not seen from Steph Curry, which is very unclutch. Games 5, 6, 7, 2016. I dare you to go read the box scores and tell me what you see. The crucial turning points, Game 4 and Game 6 at Oracle in the 2019 finals. See what you don't see from Steph. Now let's see what we see from Bill Walton. I'm sure a lot of the younger people, and you're old enough to know what I'm talking about here, they see Bill as this Grateful Dead head in tie-dyed 60s shirts who has turned into this goofball commentator who is liable to blurt out anything at any moment on national TV. Am I right about that? The Bill Walton I closely observed at UCLA and with the Portland Trail Blazers was the flip side of that. In fact, because he had a stuttering problem, he barely even spoke to the media. He was seen as this glowering, menacing presence who played with a supreme edge, and he dominated college basketball and professional basketball until his feet failed him, because fairly quickly both of his feet just gave out underneath him. He had one injury after another. But when he was right, he was much righter than Steph has ever been in the postseason. Cases in point, national championship game, 1973 for the UCLA Bruins against Memphis State. Bill Walton scored 44 points on 21 of 22 shots. 21 of 22, because he was a 7-footer who was as light on his feet as any 7-footer I have ever witnessed. It doesn't matter, white, black, you name it, Bill Walton was it. He was an agile gazelle. He was the greatest passing big man I have ever seen. And he played on a pogo stick because he was such a quick jumper and could block shots and rim protect like nobody out this side of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And the point was, in Portland, they played the Sixers of Dr. J in the finals. I don't know if this is before your time.
I remember they was down 0-2.
Okay, this is Dr. J, this is George McGinnis, this is Doug Collins. I obviously had fame on television thereafter. Henry Bibby, this was World B. Free. This was Kobe's father, who was Joe Belly Bean Bryant. And this was Daryl Dawkins, nicknamed Chocolate Thunder. That's what he was up against. And in the closeout Game 6 in that series, in which he was the finals MVP, Bill Walton went for 20 points, 23 rebounds, 7 assists, and 8 blocks of that lineups featuring Dr. J's All-Stars. Are you kidding me? And he turned that right around the next year and went into the regular season and was the MVP of the NBA. I'm sorry. That guy who played with that edge, who was complete flip side of the guy you see on TV, I'm taking him over Steph Curry any day or night in the postseason.
You do realize that UCLA is not the NBA, so I'm just going to discount that.
Okay, but it was the all-time great finals performance.
Yeah, he was great. He was historic. He was a historically great college player. But Skip, you do realize in '77 he finished second in the MVP. He won the finals. They won the finals MVP. He's also, he come back the next year, he won the regular season MVP, playing 58 of if I'm not mistaken, of a possible 82 ball games. But did you know over the next four seasons, he played a total of 14 games?
I told you his feet failed him.
Okay.
He just fell completely apart.
So Steph has 3 titles to Bill's 1. Steph has 2 MVPs to Bill, and Bill only went to 2 All-Star games. Steph is a 6-time All-NBA player, a 7-time All-Star, the greatest shooter ever lived.
Who would you take one game for your playoff life? Who would you take? Bill Walton or Steph Curry? I got Bill, and I'll beat your butt all day and all night. You can't stop him.
The question is, who is the better player? Steph Curry is a much better player than Bill
all about
Walton.
the postseason, and I haven't seen it from Steph. He has no finals MVP.
The man was great one postseason. He was great one postseason in '77. You do realize he played like 13 years.
I saw it. and I saw him turn it right around into a regular season MVP. You can't tell me, was he more dominant in his time than Steph is in his time? Yes, he was.
No, Skip, stop.
Steph is about oohs and ahs and distance shooting, and he has revolutionized the game as a distance shooter. But when it comes to the postseason, go look at his three-point numbers, games 5, 6, and 7. You benefited. He handed you a championship, you and LeBron, on a silver platter because he stunk it up for 3 straight games.
So what happened the year in 78, he won the MVP of the regular season. They did have it in 78 finals that year. What happened? Why wasn't he a participant?
He was hurt. Okay, I told you his feet failed him. It was tragic. It was sad.
Steph hasn't been hurt? Steph ankles?
He had ankle injuries. Yeah. They corrected it.
Yeah.
They got him braces that he still wears that work.
Skip, I don't know how on God's green earth you can make a case that Bill Walton, who basically had 2 healthy seasons, is better than Steph Curry.
Okay, you're not answering my question.
Yeah.
At his apex, who was better, Bill Walton or Steph Curry?
Skip,
at their best.
Skip, his apex only lasted 365 days.
Well, he was the Finals MVP and the regular season MVP. He showed you. He showed you what he was doing in college basketball. He just tore it apart.
Skip, let me ask you a question.
And that was in the years when people stayed for 4.
Has there ever been a guy that won regular season and Finals MVP in the same season? LeBron has done it twice. Michael Jordan has done it several times.
Okay, we're not talking about that.
Has there ever been a unanimous MVP in league history? The one guy on the left has been...
I'll take Bill Walton and I'll kick your behind.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
Skip, I have a feeling plenty. We'll have more to say on social media. I know you don't read the comments, but I'll share them with you tomorrow. Is there a new MVP candidate playing in the basement at Staples Center?
No, stop.
After the break.
No mercy. No mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Despite beating the Pelicans last night, the Nets still got some bad news to deal with. James Harden had a setback on his hamstring recovery, and the team announced that he'd be out indefinitely. Brooklyn head coach Steve Nash was equal parts frustrated and understanding, saying the process was, quote, back to square one. We'll rehab him and get him back whenever we can, and who knows when that will be. Hopefully that comes sooner than later, but there's no guarantee. So, Shannon, how big of a blow is this for the Nets?
It's a huge blow, Skip. It's a big deal, very, very big deal, because, you know, the playoffs are 4 rounds, Skip. And you know what hamstrings, you know how they are. They are so tricky. They feel great one day, and you might go 2-3 days, they feel great. And you make the least sudden movement, the sudden start-stop, and it grabs. And you and I both know, normally when hamstring grab in the playoffs, you're done. Ask Magic. Ask Byron Scott. It ended them when they played the Pistons that last...
I was there at courtside.
It was over, Skip.
And I threw up my hands and said, well, that's the end of that deal.
That's it.
I came all the way to Detroit for this.
That's what you went all the way for that. And look, we know if they're healthy, they're going to be a tough out because they got 3 guys on a given night. Either one can get you 50, and 2 of the 3 can get you 35, and all 3 of them can get you 25 plus and make your night miserable. And then when they're driving and doing what they're doing, they can kick the Shamet. They can kick the Joe Harris.
Yeah.
They got other guys that can make you pay for trying to double them. But, Skip, this is huge. And what we're seeing is because the season was so condensed, you're playing so many games, and the body doesn't get a full chance to recover. Think about it. Harden, KD, Dame, Kawhi, Bron, AD, Giannis have all missed significant time. But you knew this was going to happen, Skip. That fast turnaround, condensing the season, guys playing 30, 40, go double overtime. You're going to play 45, 47 minutes, and this is what you get. But this is a big deal. This is a big deal because not only is Harden, he might not be back, Skip, until the start of the playoffs. KD, we don't know when KD had a hamstring that kept him out 2 months, and now he got a thigh contusion. So he might be out for another week or 2. They're not getting out of the East with just Kyrie. Kyrie's been sensational, but Kyrie can't get them past Philly, and he can't get them past Milwaukee by himself. They need these guys.
Are you sure there's not a little wishful thinking operating under your surface?
No, Skip. I want everybody, because I hate when guys get hurt and you like, well, what would have happened? KD, Achilles, Klay Thompson's knee. Skip, what would have happened? Do we believe Toronto would have really beaten Golden State if KD's healthy? I like to have answers. Everybody played. Everybody was at their best. That team won 4 games. Your team didn't. Without James Harden, and if he's back, Skip, is he going to be able to go 100% with that hamstring? Because I don't know.
Okay, usually I would go along with you on big deal, but in this crazy season, yet another pandemic-impacted season, it is not a big deal to me because everybody is racked by pandemic issues.
Right.
That they're related to pandemic because the season got squeezed together.
So who the health is might be determined who wins the title.
I don't know who will be. That's from the injury gods. I don't know. But I get you about hamstrings. I hate all this. I don't like to talk about it. I'm going to knock on my wood over here. I don't like to wish this upon anybody because when the words are spoken, they somehow get spoken into existence.
Right.
I don't want to see any more injuries. I tried to watch the Clippers at Portland last night, and I sat back after a couple of minutes and I said, no Kawhi, no Ibaka, no Dame, no Nurkic. What am I supposed to make? What